Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Rocket Rabbit Commentaries, and in this episode we're doing another movie commentary, specifically of a movie that is near and dear to my heart, The Prince of Egypt, a Dreamworks Universal production focusing on the biblical story of Moses. Yeah, we're going to go through all the different events in the Prince of Egypt movie. If you have not seen this movie, you need to correct that immediately, and This is honestly a really awesome movie. I have a lot of childhood memories with this, specifically because it's primarily a musical, and yeah, a lot of the musical pieces in this are really fucking good. What would you say, Mr. Cloud?
Well, I say quietly, smiling through Gerdat's introduction to another DreamWorks picture, yes, this movie is a musical animated retelling of the book of Exodus, specifically the chapters dealing with Moses and the wrath of God upon the Pharaoh who was oppressing his chosen people, the Hebrews.
But for the record, there is
movie,
a sequel movie focusing on Joseph and his travels. But to be perfectly honest, I think you would get more out of the VeggieTales retelling of the Joseph story.
Well, what I love about the VeggieTales also as a comparison to this movie, which was designed for motion picture theater, and then, yeah, VeggieTales also comparatively did make it to the big screen as well. VeggieTales is a lot more like meat and bones. We're going to get the story out without focusing too much on character, just that, like The Simpsons retelling Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven. The VeggieTales will get it right down to the verse, whereas this movie, hence it's called not, the Exodus, but the Prince of Egypt, a character, the eponymous character, Moses. We concentrate on his relationship with his brother Ramses. It makes it a beautiful story.
It does, specifically the relationship and as it deteriorates throughout the movie. There's a lot of really good cinematography going around as well. Although, admittedly, the cinematography itself is not something that I really started noticing until I got much older. We're going to be starting just before the Universal logo, and yeah, this movie is an hour and 40 minutes. There's a shit ton of musical numbers in it. If you catch me singing along with it, feel free to join me. Are we ready, Mr. the Cloud?
We are ready, Mr. Gerdat, and I hope that you are all too. Here we go.
All right, then. 3, 2, 1, press play. Do, 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 do.
Bum, bum.
Behold all of God's golden kingdom illuminated by streetlights.
I do like
a Comcast company. Ugh.
I do like the Universal concentration and also the DreamWorks concentration on water physics, so that 1998 to 2000 was a wonderful era for water production artists in the animated film industry. That water graphics looked amazing.
Yeah, Dinosaur shows that off quite early on. Doesn't actually stay on theme for all that, but it does do a couple of interesting scenes in the rain.
The motion picture you are about to see is an adaptation of the Exodus story. While artistic and historical license has been taken, we believe that this film is true to the essence, values, and integrity of a story that is a cornerstone of faith for millions of people worldwide. The biblical story of Moses can be found in the book of Exodus.
DreamWorks Pictures presents. You see, this was before DreamWorks got bought out by Disney, so.
And before DreamWorks made Shrek.
Yeah, just slightly, right? Shrek is 2001.
Precisely, yes.
And here we are with the first really good musical piece. Not really good musical piece. We've already had a musical motif show up, but Deliver Us is honestly a really, really kick-ass piece. It reminds me a lot of the Les Miserables introduction to Jean Valjean that we get.
Oh, these brass swells. I already love it. Dun, 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 dun.
Sad.
Yes.
Straw.
Set to
Faster.
music. The slaves at work. That we can practically feel the crack of the master's whip at our backs.
My sweat on my brow. I always end up catching myself singing along to this shit.
Well, it's good
And I
to
really
know
should,
which
because
music
this is shit
pieces.
that I personally have never experienced in most any form. They're raising a statue of Ra in the background. And in the foreground. Haha.
Oh, background, foreground, sun. And also, visibly, well over 200 individual figures.
Now, this has always been a slight plot point for me, but I'm just now coming to terms with it. Why the hell did Pharaoh Amen decide to do this culling while his slaves were at work?
Well, I would simplify that by stating, as a matter of fact, the slaves were always working.
Yeah, but like, it feels slightly more evil than it's probably intended to be, you know. No, because we'll get a little bit of Pharaoh Amen as the movie goes on, very little. But from what we see, of Pharaoh Amen, mostly he's just a taxed father.
I confess only that I would not suffice for a biblical scholar, but just a general reader and somewhat loosely familiar with the Bible. I feel that we are in need of a scholar. Yes, a biblical scholar. Someone who can say, I am saying this authoritatively because this is how it was said across, I don't know, 17 different retranslations over time. It's amazing how far this one story has come along.
Yeah. Can you think of any popular media that is a straight retelling of the Book of Moses?
Yes, actually, the Book of Moses. No, Moses was in the last 4 books of the Pentateuch, which Pentateuch, yeah, the Pentateuch was the first 5 books from the Bible. Yeah, I don't know why they use the word gooch. I don't question these things. Damn it. Knocked into my microphone a bit. I digress, though. Rugrats also did the Passover. Well, as a Passover holiday episode in the Jewish tradition, that it retold Moses freeing the slaves, of course, by famously parting the Red Sea with Tommy holding up his little staff and his little fucking beard, his diaper showing, like, oh, I hope this works. Like, of course it works. It's God. That's the whole point.
Crocodiles and hippopotamuses. Do not fuck with hippos, for the record. Hippos will eat you.
Oh yeah, they are more dangerous than sharks.
No, just because they look like big, dumb, gentle creatures does not mean that they actually are. Remember, the first adjective there is big.
Jeez.
Whoosh!
What I like about these vessels, of course, on the water is that you can tell that the background is a painted fixed image, whereas the water and any vessels like the boats or the basket, Moses' basket, while he's being collected by the Pharaoh, that the graphics are distinctly different, and
Yes.
it raises the eye for the fantastic, especially in a retelling of the book of Exodus, which is incredibly dramatic with the wrath of God, of course. Very dramatic stuff.
Baby brother, come back someday. So Ramses is supposed to be about 2, maybe 3 years old at this point, right?
Correct, yeah. That Moses is a baby. Ramses is basically a baby. So these two are going to spend a long time together. They grow up into adulthood together. They learn how to be competitive against each other in order to better themselves. Especially teaching their slaves the best song to sing while they work. And I think Ramses just had a better ear for these things.
Ah, the massive delta leading into Pharaoh's palace. Boom. And then we smash cut to a full, 15 years later?
Yes, very Hercules.
Dick.
'Cause I'm gonna carve the wall with your face. Haha. Huh. Look at us wealthy persons.
Extremely wealthy persons. For the record, these are actual war horses that they're using for this shit.
Oh, the war horses got to get their exercise somehow. Take a horse for a ride, give them something to eat, and you are going to have what some might call a mutually beneficial relationship.
Guys, don't break the shogi board. It's ancient Egypt. They don't have the time or money to replace shogi boards.
Ah,
Yeah, it's a butt joke.
yeah, right. There's no way Ramses was actually wearing underwear. Come on.
Yeah. Mostly because it's Egypt, and we don't know what season it is at the moment, but it's fucking Egypt. When you're that close to the equator, your seasons are too fucking hot, too fucking hot, slightly less too fucking hot, and still too fucking hot.
As a note on geography, Egypt lies in the northern portion of the Sahara Desert, the latter considered the largest single, by square mileage, massive desert in the entire world.
Except for Antarctica.
Look at us, silly
and of
children
course, we must have the 90s cliche of, hey, that looks like our adventure is over, except, nope.
And also because it's a cliche that it's happening to both of them equally and at the same time. Yes.
And of course, our recurring villainous characters, the priests.
They're all dead now.
Well, no, the servants are dead. The priests get out just fine.
Also, no, the sand would not continue to... well, I mean, if it was a very fine sand, I mean, Pharaoh gets what Pharaoh wants, then, yeah, I could see it flowing down like that. Why?
Hey, Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. Tall guy and short guy cliche. Huh, yes, Moses, you
A
are
little bit.
responsible.
I don't like it, though.
Yes, the ancient tradition that you are going to bury me and then have yourselves buried. It is the way it works. Well, you get to ride horses daily and watch people get their backs whipped in order to build monuments. Your tombs.
Poor Pharaoh, amen. Now that's supposed to be Nefertari, right?
I haven't been following how many characters have been introduced quite yet.
Well, that's the thing. We never actually hear Pharaoh's name or the mother's name, so I want to assume it's supposed to be Nefertari, but I'm not sure.
It is possible that some names were implanted in the drama in order to sell to motion pictures, a retelling of the Book of Exodus. However, again, we should remind our viewers that we are very badly in need of an actual biblical scholar among us.
And thus the plot is set in motion.
The statue is looking the same way as him. I love that.
Yeah.
Just like Hot Fuzz when Timothy Dalton had a picture of himself that looked exactly like him, probably because they took a picture of him at that moment and then put it there. Kills me. See, he's a force to be reckoned with because he's able to drop from such a high height.
Partially because you're not fast enough to notice what's going on, Ramses.
Yeah, what were we just talking about? You screw around and I take the blame. Yes. Very understandable frustration. Look at that. Look at that.
Well, I don't have the burden of responsibility that you do, so I'm allowed to not care.
Oh, and by the way, this ain't my actual hair.
Cliche bomb number 2. Honestly, there are a lot of stereotypical '90s cliches going on in this movie, but they're all played relatively well.
Yes. Oh, that's a bomb.
Prompt, prompt, prompt. Okay, yes. We do actually get the priest name of Hotep and Hoy, and here we get one of the other major inciting incidents for the plot.
Behold, magic. Man, I have definitely been watching too much America's Got Talent. The whole stage, the appearance, the smoke, the poof, the magic, the audience applauding, everything. Ah, ah. Wow, that's quite an adult theme. We're already getting into the the harem slavery trade.
Mm. See, Moses isn't an actual idiot, but yeah, yeah.
Well, we know from, of course, reading the material this is based on that Moses has bigger plans than just parties and throwing girls into tiny ponds.
Well, not at the moment, at least according to this story. I mean, he's effectively 17 at this point, and given the lack of responsibility that he's been burdened with, specifically in comparison to Ramses, he very much can just live in his life of luxury for the rest of his life if he so chooses.
Yes, choice. Of course, who could resist the the ubiquitous will of God?
Well, apparently, this person could. Whoosh.
Heh. Very sneaky. Also decidedly quite quiet. Little breather, a little whoo. All right. Well, I mean, my kids don't understand what was going on, but I mean, I was starting to get a little warm there. I'm the prince, goddammit.
Mm.
Now the chief architect, actually. You watch your goddamn tone.
So this fade cut is really questionable to me because it's still rather implied that we're somewhat close to Pharaoh's palace, but we very much aren't anymore. This is very clearly a cliffside on the outskirts of town. Yet Moses doesn't. We end up smash cutting back to the palace in a brief moment.
Smash cutting. Huh.
Well, we do.
Well, what? So bring me up on the nomenclature. What is a smash cut?
Right after we get the emotional dagger here.
Dagger.
We do an extremely fast and rough cut of Moses trying to go back to bed. That transitions into "This is my home."
Right. So I would call what you call smash cutting. I would use as a similar descriptor, juxtaposition. The deliberate placement of not necessarily related frames, especially in a motion picture where you control the frames and, of course, the ray. And I also have to say, what a smooth movie we have right here so far. That they would juxtapose Moses going to bed with saying, well, you sleep in a bed, and this bed is really cozy. Dramatic irony. You know, before he dies.
And then,
Because I am probably in better shape than you. Oh, you feeble slaves. Which, honestly, also kind of would explain why, how does a small group of slave masters drive, thousands of people, for instance? These are questions.
Well, it's not
and
really a small group. A large portion of the Egyptian military is on this project.
Damn right. Nobody attacks the pharaoh without the wrath of their gods. In the polytheistic sense.
This particular face shouldn't actually have any impact on Moses because as a baby, he straight up could not have seen his mother's face do that.
Because Moses has never gotten a full explanation as to how he was brought to the pharaoh in the first place. That now the mystery, like the prying eye of wisdom upon him, is going to have that fateful interview in order to learn the truth.
See, right there, that's the smash cut I'm referring to. No, we go from what is very clearly an outskirts part of town alleyway onto the palace steps.
Well, it is quite a trip, but he could do it. I mean, hell, he's
Yes,
a
he
good
could
horse
do it,
rider.
but he's already done it once tonight. Like how long was that trip? And if Moses and Pharaoh's palace are really that close to Miriam and Aaron's homes, Miriam probably should have ended up trying this revelation earlier on, or at least have built up a relationship with him by now.
It is I would answer that because I feel that every question has at least some explanation because, god damn it, people have had thousands of years to look over the details of the story. That it's a statement on how secluded the lives of the nobles really could be back in the day when they were the fittest, the slaves were the feeblest, and also they had an army of goons ready to exact their will at any given moment. So, yeah, some separation likely had occurred for 20 years.
I'm pretty sure it's only supposed to be 15, but yeah, this particular transition into the nightmare for the changed art style is really kick-ass. Like this entire nightmare sequence is honestly one of the more memorable pieces of the movie.
Nightmare, I see.
It is a nightmare.
That was a montage.
He straight up doesn't actually remember any of this happening, nor does he remember where it is in the palace.
Wilhelm scream. Yes, very scary. Very PG. They're taking all the babies away. And they're going to put them in a big crib. Nice. Right. So that, yep. Dreams. He had a dream so vivid he could not shake it.
And then, of course, the sun god Pharaoh throws all the infants into the pit of crocodiles for Osiris and Sobek to judge.
Yeah, I agree that nightmares where you're falling do jolt one awake.
I mean, most of my nightmares have involved responsibility because responsibility is a terrible word, Mr. Cloud.
I mean, it's easy if you try. I mean, Moses is definitely trying. He's responsible for his own conscience, and oh my God, look at the little penises on the babies. That's very Nevermind, very Nirvana. Also on a commentary of animated Ding-a-lings that this was succeeded in 2007 by the Simpsons movie when Bart's tiny Dinky Winky was visible for at least 1.5 seconds.
Sacrifices must be made.
Sacrifices, that's a bad word.
Of course, the operative word here is actually slaves, because Moses is coming to terms with the fact that, wait a minute, these are people, and I am a people.
Yes, I'm a people. You're a people too. Now this is a hero cliche. Oh my god, are you sitting in a ditch? How cliche. Yes, God. Thank God somebody finally said God.
And it's here the riverman.
And whatever you choose.
But of course, Moses, being somewhat intelligent, can't live like that.
La da 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 da.
Intelligence really is a intelligence really would be a curse at sub 1000 AD.
Well, I mean, I could speak at length on society's relationship with intelligent people. Let's just say that intelligence don't necessarily enter into it. Especially so with the dynasty of pharaohs, when wealth was inherited, and so too was status and the command over millions, thousands of men.
You see, the problem with what he just did there is that now he has now that the slave specifically has to go all the way back and pick up another bag of sand.
Oh right, because he's the chief architect. So they're looking at him like, oh, so you're the big boss, under the big boss, under the big boss. Moses, are you getting all of this? The statue will be magnificent.
No, I am not.
Moses? But good heavens, brother, where did you go? And now you also put a little white fence over here. A little,
Now the cut there to have Moses no longer gripping the slave master is really weird. Specifically because in order to actually push him over, he had to wrap his arm around his neck in order to do it. So he should have fallen with him.
God damn it! How did he get up there so fast?
Now he sprinted. I mean, the dude that he was attempting to save is dead, certainly, but he still sprinted.
Oh, I missed that part. The dude fell off the ledge. Okay, so now I see what happened. He was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime for trying to free a slave.
Well, not free a slave, but standing up for a slave that was going to die.
For the enslavement of God's chosen people by the line of however many what's-its descended from Adam in the book of Genesis, the preceding book in a series of 5. We understand that God is angry that his chosen people have been enslaved, so is afflicting the conscience of his chosen one, Moses.
Not all of it, but, some very core principles.
Huh. Disillusioned. Yes, very grown up. Very growing up. Rite of passage. Ha ha ha. I said passage.
Please stay. I promise you. We can let you murder other people.
Yeah. And I'll just say, well, I don't know. The wind. The dude was light as a feather. He fell right over at the nearest effort. Moses!
I really do think that the relationship between Moses and Ramses, up to this point, is honestly pretty well built. They are brothers first and foremost.
And so Moses began his seclusion in the desert in order to find not only himself, but what he was meant to do.
But, this is a very craggy part of the desert. Does this even count as desert?
Oh, yeah. The steppes, the plateaus, the cracks, the wax, the sand in your sack. All of it. Very consistent. The valleys, the peaks, the lows, the highs, the sheer, the near.
The Titanic references.
And not a single drop of water in sight.
Ow! I mean, you should have gotten rid of your jewelry a full day and a half ago, dude. Come on.
Your chances of survival drop dramatically when you don't have the appropriate footwear to keep your feet from basically frying on either sand or stone.
Yeah.
This is the mother effing Sahara we're talking about. There is a reason why the desert is so wide, because the sun is particularly strong. It's some of the highest temperatures ever recorded on planet Earth in this sandstorm motherfucking godforsaken wasteland. Except, of course, for the cultures and indigenous peoples who, of course, over thousands of years have learned to coexist with the harsh climates of nature.
So at what temperature and how long do you need to sustain that temperature to turn a group of sand into glass?
Well, a lightning strike would do it.
Yeah, but a lightning strike is upwards of 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's for a brief moment.
Yeah. Well, you got to get the temperature pretty goddamn high in order to melt the sand to make glass.
What I'm asking is it technically possible to actually make glass naturally in the Sahara Desert?
Make it naturally? Oh, yeah, absolutely. You just got to melt it. I mean, if you build you could build a 1,000 degree oven if you had the correct stone. That could probably do it. You would be a glassman. Moses, at this point, would conceivably consider being a glassman in order to make his way.
But instead he decides to become a shepherd. Whee!
Well, that is just very spot on. Now, rich man fell in well, and now well is dirty. Dun dun dun!
Haha.
Ah. What a chuckle.
So, I forget what this guy's name is. Isn't it Jeddah?
That I don't know. At this moment, he is Benevolent Ganon, specifically the Ganon at the very end of Wind Waker, when you have to fight him and he's got the twin swords. Fucking awesome boss battle, in my opinion. One of the greatest in the Legend of Zelda series.
It's very climactic, certainly, but honestly, I've always liked the Phantom Ganon fight from Ocarina of Time's Forest Temple.
That also is a pretty goddamn kick-ass fight.
That is a nice bonfire.
Moses the hero. Welcome.
In the tapestry, the woods
A single thread in a tapestry. Let me tell you about your family tree.
The mountain's mighty face. I can't say enough how much I love the musical pieces in this. We're gonna get to my favorite musical piece in a bit, but each of the more iconic musical pieces of this have always stuck with me. I've through heaven's eyes.
What I find very funny about these musical, the animated musicals, is that a lot of the songs you remember are set in a minor key, like melodic minor specifically. That these, you know, this song is in D, for example. So, I mean, it's fun. Sometimes the most fun you can have is, well, just setting up a tent correctly. So then you can get some shade.
You notice he's still actually keeping his Regent ring.
No.
It's or how much he gave.
What a powerful delivery.
Answer will come on him who tries to look at his life through heaven's eyes. Still the prankster.
Yes.
Now, did Zabora end up taking a majority of her character design from Esmeralda?
Sabora, what's now?
I'm asking if Zabora here took most of her character design from Esmeralda, from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Well, Hunchback of Notre Dame was Disney, right?
Yes.
Possible, but dangerous. I mean, although fair game, because a lot of what was pleasing to the eye in later works was brought into fashion, let's say, by movies that came out before. Most definitely. Makes it more palatable. Through heaven's eyes. Very good use of.
I have never been to that successful of a bonfire party.
Man, bonfire parties can get lit.
Yeah.
Pallets. Broken down furniture. Things that we probably shouldn't be burning. All of these. We do not necessarily condone the burning of things you probably shouldn't be burning.
Yeah, don't throw a freshly sealed package of fireworks into the bonfire, guys. Please.
Zach Holmes' suicide vest prank from Jackass 4.5. Oh my god, that was funny. Fat man getting lit up by a vest of more specifically, firecrackers. I do want to commend this movie for picking music in order to soften the tone. Bring a smile to one's face.
Even though we're about to get into a much harsher tone right here.
I mean, we're not exactly doing Passion of the Christ right now with Jim Caviezel. We're gonna sing. We're going to celebrate.
I still haven't actually seen Passion of the Christ.
I have not either. I'm told it's a movie I should likely consider seeing just to know and fully grasp that it exists, and is based on a series of works descending on the name The Passion. The Passions? Yes, the Passions.
Huh, my stick is not on fire.
Sight of burning bush, and this is how about a violent tush? Moses, loser, loser.
Yeah, why is this spot specifically holy ground? Is it just because you decided to touch down here?
Because precisely because he is in the presence of Christ, and you will sit down, shut up, and listen when the Father is speaking.
Well, that I am. That's kind of a really terrible way to introduce yourself.
Oh, the voice of God. The Metatron.
Now, I'm not actually all that familiar with the story of Isaac, but Abraham very specifically had a very negative relationship with you, dude.
Well, I mean, Isaac forgave his father Abraham for trying to kill him as a child. That's how he became king. This is no dream. The burning bush, a place where no bushes welcome, yet here it thrives, even when on fire, because God wills it.
But dude, if you've already domesticated the cows and bees in this place, what is there for us to really do?
Be fruitful, multiply, dominion over the beasts and the fish and the birds of the sky. Has everybody got their Bibles in their pockets? I know I do. Oh yeah, that's right, because this is a dramatic work, they can take liberties and quote God from other from other chapters. That is wonderful.
Yeah, but the problem with this particular quote is, yeah, but that puts you as being a dick. You chose to have these things happen to these people, and
Oh my
The mysteries
goodness.
of God have always been one of the big problems with my faith in Christianity.
I was going to say that the faces of numerous bespectacled scholars of the Bible, all descended through the centuries, are all staring at you, my friend, saying like,
That's fine. They
why
can
you-
stare at me all they want.
"Why you gotta bust balls?"
Because it's important, God damn it.
To just clarify for the record, the Bible is by many accounts the greatest story ever told. It's a pretty goddamn long story too. The irony
Princess
of
Bride
the
is
sentiment
better.
is palpable. I digress, though. That just like this movie came out around a time towards the end of the millennium when people were not really sure what was going to happen, that they wanted a chance to think about God in order to repent for their sins on earth.
Y2K fever was most certainly a real thing, but it wasn't as real a thing as we make it out to be.
Oh, of course, it never flippin' happened.
Yeah.
There was no
well,
Y2K.
no, Y2K fever definitely did happen, but the event itself did not.
Man-made fever. The social and the biological.
I have been blessed with divine purpose, Deborah.
No, I see. There was a burning bush. Yeah, it's true. I tripped, and I got here, and then, oh, what a beautiful robe. Oh my goodness, what a great staff. Come, I must show you the truth that is set before us, the chosen people.
Yeah, but I'm one man with the power of God and anime well on my side. I should be fine.
Yes, Deus Ex Machina. Have you not heard of it? Let me give you a tour. Suddenly I'm thinking of Santa Claus versus Moses from Epic Rap Battles of History. Who gets
That
lost
was
for
the one
40
that Snoop
years?
Dogg, I guess, cameoed as Snoop Lion.
But he never mentioned no fat-ass Papa Smurf. Now excuse me to my land of milk and honeys.
There's puppy noises.
Yeah, you can hear the puppies. Yeah, that's probably Haley. Yeah, I get a little doggy company now. What a world!
And so we are off to return to Pharaoh's palace. Not knowing, of course, that since 10 years have passed, Pharaoh Amen died at some fucking point.
Well, he was older, and no matter how wealthy you were, life expectancy was decidedly short in a place where they did not even understand basic hygiene.
Ancient Egypt did have some concept of basic hygiene.
Some.
Like, we don't have plumbing yet, specifically, but we don't get plumbing till the 1800s, so.
And also, if they needed to, for like ointments and antiseptics, they probably use garlic or other herbs in order to, well,
the priests specifically have
wash your
ointments. I
hands.
don't think they have antiseptics, but they most certainly have ointments.
Well, you better have
And alcohol
something
does
ready.
exist at this point. Just it's not necessarily as refined as we would have it come to be known as.
Then the shitters are around here somewhere. We assure you. Every single one of
Figs!
these characters at some point is gonna have to take a shit at some point, and they are going to need those shitters when it happens.
Hey, Ramses.
I know that look on your face. No, Pharaoh. Oh, jeez. He's overcome with joy. Stop him. Stop him. I guess this is cool. Farrell likes this. This is cool. This is cool. All right. We're having a good time.
And now we get one of the best musical pieces in most of animated movie history.
And I'm pretty sure has appeared in other commentaries by Gerdat's impassioned retelling of a very catchy and very dark musical piece from the Prince of Egypt. Title drop at 53 minutes.
For the record, we've had that title
time.
drop already happened, but
well, let's do it again, and then another time, just to really drive it home. Oh, bombshell. Commands, Pharaoh, this god of yours.
Well, this isn't really power. This is just a miracle.
You call that a miracle? I've seen better performances in front of Simon
I mean, it's
Cowell.
a golden viper, so... Sorry, it's a golden cobra. Vipers are slightly different.
An asp?
It's supposed to be an asp, but the hood is very much a cobra. And that's Ramses the Fourth, for the record. His name will never actually be said either. Like a majority of the side characters just do not have names in this movie, which is annoying. But here we go.
That is Honus the Bow of Mirrors.
Power of Ra.
Ra. Honu.
Ptah. Anubis.
Anubis. Other guy.
Ra.
Ra.
God, I love the song. High places the power to put us on the run. It's just
face.
so over the top and evil. We are done some. See, even the cobra's into it.
Big boys now.
Every spell and gesture tells you who's the best. You're playing with the big boys now.
You're playing with the big boys now. Dun, dun, dun.
Playing with the big boys now. Stop this foolish mission. Watch a true magician. Give an exhibition howl.
Well, it's definitely better than Cartman's psychic battle from South Park.
Yeah.
Stay back, man. It's an epic telekinetic battle of the bands.
Playing with the big boys now.
With the big boys.
See, they generate
now.
two asps that then turn into cobras. It's like, what the hell?
By the might of Horus.
You put up a front, you put up a fight.
Pikachu.
Just to show we feel no spite. You can be our acolyte. Bow down.
No, those faces are the stuff of nightmares.
Ah, not really. Like, the
Dum
scariest shit in the
bum.
movie is still going to happen, and it's mostly done with missing audio cues.
Well, missing audio cues.
Yeah.
You mean like you're expecting like an explosion?
Absence of
but then
audio
it's just-
cues, specifically.
Yes, that was good for my son, because as you can see, I have a child who I'm going to indoctrinate into the dynasty. Please, enlighten me. What the hell are you on about? Oh yeah, now that I remember that statue. Now he built his head next to it.
Yeah, sorry, it's Pharaoh Seti. My bad.
Seti, spaghetti, I'm all ready. Heh. I parody these things, of course, in the interest of laughs and humor. Just that, my God, how loose my grasp of the names. I'm telling you this because I love you. You're my friend, and I really hope you don't
This
try
conflict
to
ends
kill
up
me.
ends up inspiring the conflict between
Oh.
Avatar Roku and Fire Lord Sozin.
He returned the ring. What a gesture. Well, it is good that at least he didn't need the ring as proof up at first and foremost that it was really him.
Burdened by tradition, Ramses makes some pretty massive mistakes here.
Yes, that's a simple matter. However much they're working, do it over again. Aha.
Well, in all technicality, it is technically possible, but it's strictly vanity projects that they end up getting additional work towards.
Gentlemen, please, God is listening.
I like
and
Aaron's
he
performance
is
in this
laughing
movie. He doesn't
his
get nearly
ass
as much
off.
time as he honestly should in this story, but his performance is pretty good. Isn't he Goldblum?
What, Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Aaron is Jeff Goldblum, right?
Could very, very possible. He was around in 1998. He just
He's
did-
still around. Hell, he's
he
in the
just
new
did
Jurassic
Independence
World movie.
He's the face of that new Check Apartments app, saying, "Come check out actual 3D images taken from panoramic cameras." And I say, "By God, it actually looks pretty convincing." Thank you, Jeff Goldblum. Job finds this hysterical.
Honestly, Miriam's role in this really should have gone to Aaron. And in this, and classically, this role is actually Aaron's role. I don't know why they thought that. I don't know why they thought that Aaron couldn't do this role.
What, the role of representing the contempt of
The
pretty
hope
much
that
everybody
the
around
Hebrew
here?
slaves still actually have. That is what Miriam actually supports. Aaron in the story gets changed into being the representation of the cynicism after growing up as a slave for his entire life, whereas Miriam is a representation of the hope that the Hebrew people still have.
I mean, Miriam definitely feels differently towards Moses than Aaron does. That whether Moses is, crazy or speaking the truth, Miriam just wants the best for him because she's already personally given up after praying to God her whole life and her life not getting any better as a result. Another long-awaited and anticipated question. Wait, is this the Sea of Blood? Oh, I think it's blood
this is
time.
Sea of Blood, the first
Have
plague.
some blood. Oh, it's so metal. And remove the cap at the end of the staff. Inside is the red sugar you will need in order to mix the Kool-Aid. Behold, sparkling Hawaiian punch. Heh. And also the appearance of red bodies of water is a result of a saturation of gases, which actually dramatically caused the death of an entire village in history because they all suffocated in their sleep because gas rose from the river and descended on them. Yes, without the audio-visual aids behind us. Behold. Swiss
And
miss.
for the record, it wouldn't be Raw that they should praise you for this. It should be either Sobek or Neith. But Neith doesn't show up in this movie. Damn it. And even then, you can tell that it's fake because it's both the wrong color and the wrong consistency. The blood that everyone else picked up pretty much drained immediately out of their hands and is a much deeper red. That's mostly orange.
All right, well, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it.
What are we waiting for, Mr. Cloud?
The fish.
No, the fish doesn't happen yet.
He killed the fish.
No, he did not kill the fish.
They're suffocating right now. There's no oxygen in the water. He killed the fish.
He did not kill the fish.
And their little fishy bodies should be rising up.
They should be, but they are not deaded. Again, the Sea of Blood, although it counts as a plague, is also one of God's miracles, at least in this telling of the story. So no, none of the fish died from this event.
No fish were harmed in the making of The Prince of Egypt, a DreamWorks picture.
I mean, there are probably some fish harmed. The caterer's got to serve something after all.
Well, let it be known that the caterers did not necessarily have anything to do with the death of living fish, except maybe lobster, which is best served fresh. Oh, also the plague of frogs.
Behold, the next plague, the plague of toads.
Don't you get it, Peter? God is pissed.
And now the fourth plague, the plague of gnats. A lot of people remember plagues as one of the scariest parts of the movie, and while it's definitely very ominous, this music track is way too badass for it to be really fearful for me.
I am Bruce Almighty. My will be done.
All I ever wanted.
Yes, let's set the plagues to music.
I chose another. On his behalf. It's the last thing that I wanted.
It's the last thing that I wanted. This was my
All
home.
this pain and devastation, how it tortures me inside. From your stubbornness and pride.
It's also, and one could even conjecture that this is a good lesson for the military, is that if you want to pressure a power, an opposing power, that you have to, well, put pressure on them. This is God's pressure campaign against the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh is losing this one.
Say the Lord. You who I called brother, how could you have come to hate me so? Is this what you wanted? Then let my heart be hardened, and never mind how high the cost may grow. This will still be so. I will never let your people go.
I will never let your people go.
Honestly, the music video portions of this movie are so fucking iconic. I love each of them. And now we have the second to last plague, the plague of darkness.
One of the most evil of all the plagues.
Well, no, this is honestly much less evil a plague than it's portrayed to be.
That let it be known that in Jackass 4, one of the harshest pranks they had done in the history of Jackass was the Silence of the Lambs prank, when they locked 6 in groups of 2 Jackass members in the dark while they were being tortured by men who could see what they were doing because of night vision goggles. For about 20 minutes. This is an all-night affair, the Plague of Darkness. For human beings fear the dark, and especially it was so for the Hebrew people.
Yes, because Judeo-Christian demonology is fucked up, man. This is honestly the best interaction that we get between Ramses and Moses.
He's drunk. Please, just because it's the will of God doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Looking very sarcophagus-like up there.
We never get to see this particular prank, but
Yeah, oh, that one time.
this specific line right here is one that we don't actually see happen in the movie, sadly. Yeah, we don't actually see Moses do any self-sacrifice to get Ramses out of trouble. Mostly because, as being the high prince of Egypt, Ramses' amount of trouble strictly just comes from Pharaoh Seti.
All right, because it's a plague of darkness, so the kids are all frightened.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because we haven't gotten to we're not done with the plagues just yet. So yeah, let's spend a little more time with Junior here while he's holding the torch because he can't see and he's scared and he's a child. It's brutal. Oh yeah, it's very metal. The Bible is very metal. You know, the stories, the good times. Yo, people. Powerful words.
Yeah. The difference here, of course, is that Ramses, instead of going the path that Seti did and do a cull of the infants, plans to actually exterminate all of the Jews with this, all of the Hebrews rather, and that would actually accomplish the same goal as getting shutting down the plagues, because then there are no more Hebrews that are enslaved.
No, if we just evacuated everybody, then everything would be fine. Oh, but God also has an answer for that too. Is that you gotta hunker down, and you gotta paint lamb's blood on the outside of your door so that the angel of death will pass over.
Now, this is supposed to be Thanatos, right?
Thanatos. No, it's fucking maybe they. Well, I mean, Dogma went so far to say that Loki was the one who slayed the firstborn in Egypt.
Really?
Yeah, he was the angel of death.
It's weird to give that title to Loki, though, because Loki usually doesn't have that kind of thing. If we were going to attribute this to a Norse god, it would almost certainly be Angerboda, or Hel.
Well, I mean, if you think that Loki was a interesting and bizarre choice, I mean, how about Matt Damon?
I mean, Matt Damon has been in a lot of different action films where he could theoretically have done this, but...
You're not talking about going home, brother. You're talking about bringing war on God. Well, fuck that.
I'm pretty sure that this would have been attributed to Thanatos at the time, but... Or at least if on a Greco reconstruction of this event, it would have been attributed to Thanatos.
Jeez.
But yeah.
Jeez. He stopped breathing. That is fucking cold.
This is the biggest horror moment of the movie to me, because all of a sudden there's just no backing track, and there's a distinct lack of audio cues throughout this entire sequence.
All we hear is the last gasp of a child's breath. Yeah, that's pretty fucking brutal. It's brutal. Oh yeah, this movie is not sparing any expense just because they're trying to bring the whole family into theaters. Just like this is down and dirty. And then God took all of these last gasps of breath and filled many whoopee cushions.
What does God think about whoopee cushions in general?
What does God think? What does anybody think?
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Next question.
Rest well, Ramses the Fourth.
I'm afraid he didn't make it. I was gonna say, don't touch me, dickhead.
Well, no, I totally understand what Ramses is going through here. He's still not convinced that God is real in this story. It has finally become too costly for him, and he doesn't know what else he could possibly lose, and that terrifies him even more than what he has already lost and what he is continuing to lose. He feels extremely powerless and angry at this point. And as Pharaoh, powerlessness is not a thing that he is ever supposed to feel.
I will not.
The conflict
be
between
the
Moses and
link.
Ramses in this movie is honestly really fucking good.
Yeah,
and we get
it's-
small payoffs of it too, like right here, where Moses is actively sobbing over what has happened to what was once his family.
Dude, these stills, even through like, well, I mean, we're approaching the final act of the movie, of course, because now that Pharaoh has given permission to Moses to spread to the Hebrews that they can leave, the stills in this movie are still beautiful. Like the worn steps
Yeah.
from the stonework, the little overarching bars in the alleyways, of course, to keep the walls from caving in. Yeah, it's when the still shots, especially. I mean, the shots in motion look good too, but especially the real gritty and sandy Pueblo here, and I use the word Pueblo, describe a village in Egypt.
And here is There Can Be Miracles, one of the most powerful emotional changes of tone for the entire movie.
Yes, because we were faithful. Our children are able to sing with us too.
It's also the only song that Zipporah gets to sing.
Yep, God forgives you too, you mudslinging asshole. That's another lesson too. Is that at least as long as they do this, as long as they say like, okay, because Moses said so, we're definitely doing this. Like that is an act of adherence leading to forgiveness, even for assholes. Hope feels like the summer birds.
Now I'm standing here.
I'm still standing. Harmony. There can be miracles.
When you
Ah,
leave.
gorgeous. Well, now what the fuck am I supposed to do? This was my job. My job was to watch
Don't
these
worry,
people
guys.
over.
You're still employed. I mean, there's not much economy left, but you guys still have jobs. I promise.
Because now they realize, my God, these people were doing all the work for us. So now we are the ones who have to, like, you know, make our lives function.
So, in the classic literature, how long were the Hebrews slaves in Egypt?
Well, several, at least. It had to be at least like 10, 20, like 30 generations descending from
30
Adam.
generations, 600 fucking years.
Moses
Man.
is a descendant of Adam, and Adam was the firstborn of all kind. But I think there were the generational gap is not as crazy as you think. That's why a lot of wannabe biblical teachers would say, yeah, the world is only 4,000 years old. So maybe like, I don't know, 1,000 years. So, okay, well, let's say 300
Now, that would be
generations.
50 generations, though, dude.
So, how about 1,000 years is the answer to the question. The Hebrews were enslaved for 1,000 years.
I don't think it was that long.
Well, long enough to say, like, well, to all but break the hope of a people.
Yeah, but you could do that over the course of 2 generations.
Yeah, not quite. I mean, it makes me think of System of a Down, but that's a long stretch of road I don't feel like walking. So that's what makes the Book of Exodus really powerful. Also, is that even if your life is in a bad spot, that you can have salvation as God wills it. What
And
a
so
beautiful
here's our
sunset.
second to last miracle. And they really hyped the fuck out of this one. This one's actually in the trailers.
All right, who brought the bathing suits?
Nah, dude, it's 0 AD. We don't have bathing suits yet.
For a moment, I was thinking of Patsy's horn from the Holy Grail. What is this? Pharaoh has returned. Who could have seen this coming? I say sarcastically.
And this sequence is technically stolen from The Lion King. Oh, I'm sorry. The third to last miracle.
Oh, dippity doodah.
Behold, God casts fire tornado. It is
Peter.
mildly effective.
Peter, don't you get it? God is pissed. He's a little quiet in Inferno Land.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right, because all the action is over there.
Yeah, it's like 100 feet away.
Wait, more like probably closer to like 900 feet.
Oh, dude, it is not. It is not a full kilometer away.
Oh, it's a big fucking fire tornado, man. Who died and made you architect of the fantastic land cyclones of flame and agony?
I think it was Kirby, but probably not. I have to check with my HR department on that. Whoosh! Our second to last miracle.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yes,
Now we can
this
go to-
effect still looks really fucking
Oh,
good. I mean, it looks more like
yeah.
it looks more like it's a glacial uprising as opposed to the separation of water nowadays. But it still looks pretty fucking cool.
All right, so now all of y'all that can't swim, follow me this way. Form a single file line and don't overcrowd.
Hey, Aaron, let's go.
Beautiful sunset glow effects too.
I forget. Does Aaron classically make it through the entire journey over to what would eventually become Israel?
Well, Aaron was the title of one of the books in the Bible, as I recall. It wasn't in the original 5. That would be Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Numbers, and Acts. So Aaron would have been.
Really, Exodus is that fucking early on? I would have thought that Exodus would have been at least after Corinthians.
Dude, Corinthians is New Testament. That's letters from Saint Paul to the Bible. One of the early. Right. That's one of the more recent. If you could use recent to describe ancient script, that he came way after these stories were originally written. Like when they say Old Testament, they mean Old Testament.
Okay.
And I'd say in the interest of getting your story across that you want to put a lot of interesting material up front to really hook people into buying the book. So they made Exodus second.
Except nobody was selling Bibles at the time. They were, well...
Oh,
actually, I don't know
they
that.
were.
I mean, I've been a part of society where Bibles were pretty much freely fucking available, so...
Well, yeah, but, I mean, at some point, somebody had to pay for the paper and ink on any Bibles that went there. Whether it was the church or a philanthropic group of people who just wanted to spread the scripture around. Charge!
And this sequence would get mirrored by Encanto.
This way, Fox.
Don't give up.
Don't
And
be
so
afraid.
it all
Trust
comes
your instinct.
crashing down. Whoosh!
Yep, just the half where they are. And Ramses too. Fuck this clown. This guy's been a thorn in my side for too long. Bye bye.
Honestly, Ramses and God don't actually have any significant interactions, even classically. Like,
Woo. Whoa! What a rush of water
yes,
and feelings. And if I'm not mistaken, I think even Dante Alighieri even put in the Divine Comedy the very same Pharaoh who Moses had to negotiate the freedom of the Hebrew people from. Just kind of, saying,
which
hey,
would have been
yeah,
Ramses the Third.
like, I'm one of the most hardcore Christian poets, singers, songwriters of all time. Fuck this guy.
But why? He's not honestly all that relevant.
Because he could have given faith to the real God, but he decided to obey his false ones. Sand. We got it finally. We got sand. Oh, land, right? Because
yes.
they just traversed the water. Like, oh, thank God we aren't those guys. We did it, everybody.
We have successfully crossed the Red Sea. Now, a lot of the cinematography wants us to believe that Miriam and Zipporah actually end up having a decent friendship throughout the movie, or at least building towards a friendship. But they straight up don't have any lines with each other aside from their harmony during "When You Believe."
When you believe in majesty. Oh, for a second I was flying over Zonus. That was a level in Star Fox 64. Oh, you're still alive. Yeah, they should strike you with lightning. Or maybe as a way of forgiving, as a way of taking it easy on Moses, saying like, hey, I got you, bro. I'm not going to kill your brother. I'm just going to kill everybody else. We're cool.
And for the record, Egypt survives this.
Of course it survives. And the Egyptians are a proud people.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. All thanks to you, the Prince of Egypt. Hero shot.
And then we have one last miracle to close us out.
Oh, right, the fucking tablets, of course. They freaking... I saw that. They put it right at the center. That's clever. They put Mount Sinai right at the fucking center, rising up. Oh, my goodness, what fun.
Mind you, we don't actually see what's really actually happening down there. What's happening down there right now is that there are a bunch of false idols that they decided to build up in this camp.
Which also was a matter of that was a matter of Exodus, Deuteronomy, and I'm pretty sure Acts also went on to describe, yes, the eradication of the false gods among the Hebrew tribes. The many tens of thousands of the 12 tribes of Israel. Whoa.
And so,
fun.
we have successfully finished The Prince of Egypt. I fucking love this movie. I love this movie specifically for its music video moments. I am still not a Christian, like at all. I have a lot of fucking problems with the story with the stories of the Bible, and I have a lot of problems with the stories with what the Christian the hierarchy of the Christian faith has done to my family. So yeah, I have personal problems with the religion that this is, exploring and supporting. But this movie is still fucking awesome.
Hans Zimmer.
Yes, Hans Zimmer is in this movie. He's just barely in it, though, so there.
Sure.
So how about you, Mr. Cloud? Do you enjoy this movie?
Oh, yes, I enjoy this movie quite a bit. The music, the drama, the character building, the voice acting, Patrick freaking Stewart, Hans Zimmer composition, that
Patrick
they
Stewart's
went all
only in
out
the movie for like 5 minutes, though. Come on.
to make this a masterpiece. They pulled together a lot of talent.
They did. As a collection of talent, this movie is fucking astonishing.
Val Kilmer. They chose Mr.
Hey, Martin
Mojo
Short and
Rising.
Steve Martin.
Yo, you're right. It was Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum was Aaron. Ah. It's a victory.
All right. This is definitely a movie that I recommend anyone actually go see if they want to know what peak '90s animation could realistically accomplish when it comes to both visuals and cinematography. If you want to know the story here, honestly, this is probably one of the best ways to have most of the Book of Exodus translated to you. But
Ralph Fiennes? Are you flipping kidding me? Voldemort?
What?
He played Ramses?
Yeah, actually, that makes sense. His voice, there's Pharaoh said, yeah, she's just called fucking Queen. She's not even called Nefertari. Damn it! I don't even know who the fuck Yoshafet is, but yeah, if you want to know what the story of Exodus could realistically be, this is honestly one of the best adaptations I have heard of it. Joseph, King of Dreams is not honestly as good of a movie as this is, and it is the direct sequel, but I would honestly say that if you're looking for an adaptation for that, the VeggieTales version of Joe and the Coat of Many Colors is what you would want to go watch for that. Which, yes, it's another Western for the VeggieTales, but you know what? VeggieTales does Westerns really good.
Oh. VeggieTales as another production studio that also has been working on biblical adaptations. This goes to show that business is still booming. It took a lot of talent to put this together. Don't get me wrong.
There are good pieces of religious media out there. You have to struggle to find them usually, but they do exist.
It's all yeah.
I like how each of these sequences have their own goddamn teams. That's interesting.
It took quite a studio. Actually, this was around the time when they had probably more people working in studios than ever.
Yes, mostly because that is how companies get bigger. They have more people working in them.
I mean, Jesus Christ, they had just one department devoted to the water.
No, because it is pre-2000 and Sonic Adventure doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy the hell out of this movie. I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to do fucking 10 Commandments, because 10 Commandments is fucking a long-ass movie. God. I've never actually seen it all the way through. But would you want to do 10 Commandments, Mr. Cloud?
I'm all set with that.
I mean, it's very important for cinematography and for cinema history specifically. But God, it's so long. It's like Prince of Arabia length, isn't it?
that Ten Commandments, you got me. You brought it up. I've never heard of it. I'm just thinking like, well, if it's as long as, I don't know, Novecento, then fuck that shit. I'm not sitting for 4 hours.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Ten Commandments is only 3 hours, honestly, but
Jesus Christ.
is not in this movie. So there, haha.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Now that we could do, because there's like 18 different fucking versions of that.
Well, I guess it is kind of, as a comment also on people who want to check out our other works. We've done other stories that are technically books of stories about God, Amadeus being chiefly one of them, and now this piece, which had music from Hans Zimmer, who went on to do The Dark Knight Rises and also the Batman trilogy for the Christian Bale and Christopher Nolan directed work.
They even contracted Boys to Men to do a credits theme.
Oh, this R&B.
Yeah, this is the 90s when Boys to Men was actually relevant. They wouldn't become irrelevant until 2000.
This is definitely a memorable movie. I think I mean, in 25 years, it's not up to our count at present to determine if this still. I think it definitely still holds up. Put it that way, because you don't.
Yes,
you
it's still an
definitely
enjoyable movie.
You definitely don't see animation like this anymore. Never again did there arise in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Lord singled out face to face.
Wait, Acts is in New Testament?
Oh, whoops. Oh, see, I'm corrected by the authority here.
Look, man, biblical scholarly is not something that we're into. Anyway, this has been us watching The Prince of Egypt. Join us next time for probably a video game playthrough, because we still do those, I promise.
Oh, yeah, video games.
Maybe not. Like, the closest thing to a Bible game I'd be willing to do is Doom, but, like, yeah. Anyway, everyone, be safe.
Peace out, y'all.